Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time stumbling on one of my videos, hi, I'm Lamia and I make videos about scholarships and opportunities, and I'm currently in the midst of my interning at the UN series. This is my 5th or 6th video. I've actually lost count, like it's really in full swing. On that note, thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed in the past month. I went into my YouTube studio this morning, and in the past 28 days, I've had over 100 new subscribers, which is just really awesome. Like, it's not something I can take for granted. So thank you so much, and a warm welcome to everybody new here. So today I'm going to be talking about how I made the most of my UN internship. So I'm not sure if I've mentioned it already in this series, but my internship was actually 4 months long. I don't know why it was 4 months long. I feel like that was a bit of an awkward in-between kind of duration for an internship. I would have loved for it to have been 6 months long, to have got more experience. But in that 4 months, I really feel like I made the most of every minute. A few months ago, somebody reached out to me on Instagram and had actually asked me how to make the most of their really prestigious internship. I ended up sending a very lengthy message back, and then I thought, you know, this is a great idea for a video. So today I'm going to be talking about all the ways in which I made the most of my 4-month-long internship at UNICEF. So first and foremost, I took advantage of the intern resources. So I'm not sure what it's like for other UN agencies, but for UNICEF, when you become an intern, both at headquarters and in country offices, you get access to like a bunch of career development resources specifically for interns. This includes an archive of previous career development sessions that were held both in person in New York at headquarters, and also the ones that have been held over Zoom. A lot of the guest speakers are UN personnel and people from similar organizations with really impressive CVs. I heeded so much advice given during these sessions. I kind of have this corner of my brain where I'm constantly replaying all of the advice given during these sessions. I'll never forget. I think the session, they were all great, don't get me wrong. But I think the session that most stood out to me was with a man serving in Iraq, and he was actually working in HR at UNICEF Iraq. Out of all the guest speakers, he was the youngest, so I think he was the most relatable, at least to me. And I'd like to think for the other interns who are, you know, kind of like my age mates or slightly older. The best part of his session for me was when he ended it off by reminding me and all the other interns to hold on to our idealism and to never lose sight of why we wanted to work for the UN in the first place. So I obviously made sure that I got through all of these sessions before my internship came to an end in January, because obviously after your internship comes to an end, you no longer have access to your portal. So I had actually been doing a marathon of these sessions just so that I made sure that I got to every single one of them before my internship came to an end. So that often meant that I was replacing my Netflix for career development sessions because, you know, time was of the essence. I was inquisitive. I am as shy as the next person, but when it came to my internship, I had to have a pep talk with myself and, you know, convince myself to suck it up, because I knew I didn't want to get to a situation where my internship would have come to an end and I was just left with like a lot of regret. I feel like regret is the worst emotion for me. Like I don't like the feeling of regret. Sometimes I get asked why I apply for so many things when I know that my chances are slim. And it's honestly because I'd rather the feeling of rejection than regret. I made sure to ask a lot of questions to understand the work at hand. I arranged calls with people within the organization who were in departments that I could see myself working in the future, just to ask them specific questions, because I mean, when else would I get such a great opportunity to have access to them? You know, oftentimes this wasn't even, you know, UN related questions. Sometimes, like with my onboarding buddy, for example, she had actually traveled during my internship for the organization to represent the organization, and the minute she got back, I had scheduled a call with her because I just wanted to hear everything about the conference. I wanted to hear about the city because I'd never actually been to the city where the conference was held. So not every day UN related questions. Some days, did you have churros? You know, I ventured into other departments. So even though I entered the system as a communications intern, let me let you guys in on a little secret. I actually had no idea what communications was prior to my internship. My mom had constantly been telling me, you could work in communications. And genuinely, when I thought of communications, I thought people in a call center. And I always used to like low-key be a little bit offended by that suggestion. I was like, I study so hard. Like, and this is what you think I could do with my life? But yeah, it turns out communications is a lot of things. And I don't know if I would describe it as easy, but I really, really do enjoy communications. But anyway, so I was a communications intern, but that didn't stop me from actually venturing into the departments that I ideally would have liked to contribute to. So a few weeks in, when I got the hang of my workload, I actually effectively managed my time, and I ventured into the country engagement department where, ideally where I could see myself working in the future. So it was really cool because I got like all this insight on what happens in the country engagement department. I was proactive. So given that my internship was remote, and actually Giga as a whole is remote, I knew I had the responsibility of going the extra mile to really feel like I was a part of something bigger than myself. The reality is your UN internship experience, and honestly this goes for everything else in life, is really what you make it. So I quickly clocked that it would be best for me to take initiative and to create stuff before being asked to. I'd have a look through reports that were published long before I even began my internship, just to see if there was any material that we could pull to upload to our social media. Being a large organization, of course, there's protocol, so a lot of my proposals were never approved, but I never once regretted asking. I really think this was a good idea on my front because I quickly lost my initial assumption that there would be like a program for the intern to follow, and I just realized that everyone is actually really busy. So especially for me, like Giga is pretty much a startup, so I pretty much had to find my footing very quickly and realize that there wasn't going to be a program, and that really my job was to make myself as useful as possible in any department, since it was startup. So my advice is, if you go into any internship, I think it's best to take initiative and not so much to wait for your supervisor or for somebody to tell you exactly what to do. Because people are busy. I didn't miss a beat. So a month into my internship, I left Zimbabwe for Thailand, where I remained for the rest of my internship. And of course, this meant being on a completely different time zone to the rest of the team. And, in the back of my mind, I knew that my internship was 4 months long. So I seldom ever missed meetings. I remember on Monday nights for our team meeting, in Bangkok time, it was at 11 p.m. and I would stay up, and this was never expected of me. In fact, I was told that I didn't necessarily have to attend, but I knew that I didn't want to. I knew that it was temporary, and I knew that I didn't want to get to the end of my internship and regret having missed, meetings and stuff because of fatigue. No, but I have no regrets, and I'm really glad that I made an effort because, now that my internship is only a memory, I'm really glad that I took full advantage of everything and I didn't miss a beat. I invested wisely. I oathed that I would never talk about finances and money on this channel because I'm certainly unqualified to do so. But since my internship was paid, I, used the funding to travel because I really like traveling and becoming a more interesting person. And I also used the money to purchase what I believe they call an investment, which is this camera that I'm currently recording on. I set personal goals at the beginning of my internship. So when you do a UNICEF internship, you are actually sent a performance evaluation sheet, which you and your supervisor have to look through, and then you kind of set some smart goals. And then at the end of the internship, you reconsult that performance evaluation form and you fill it out with your results. And that's all well and good on the professional front, but I highly encourage everyone, you could be doing an internship at BCG, to go in with personal goals of your own. And I was really happy because I managed to fulfill and to complete each of my personal goals at the end of my internship as well. And those are all the ways I managed to make the most of my 4-month UNICEF internship. A few of my friends, unfortunately, have had experiences where the internship, if anything, has shown them that they have no aspirations to work in that field or that industry or at that company. But I'm really, really lucky, and I don't take it for granted, that if my internship showed me anything, it's that, this is gonna sound so cliche, but it's that this is exactly where I need to be. I'm really keen to hear how you've made the most of your internships or how you plan to make the most of your internship. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one.